What's good? This is Edo Prophet, and you're watching Amplify.
Coach Cam made this shit.
I think nostalgia is important to me, mostly just because I think I view the past as very like foundational. My perspective on life is a little like different, and I kind of think things are cyclical. And so I think the past can tell you a lot about like what your future will, consist of. That's kind of like where I draw my experience and a lot of like my inspiration from when it comes to nostalgia. Like I'm literally just spending my 20s doing all the things that I wanted to do as a child that I wasn't, able to like either do fully as like a person without being like low-key embarrassed, or like just wasn't able to pursue financially. And that's what I'm spending my time doing. So that's what nostalgia really is for me. It's just a little roadmap when I get a little lost. Kind of reminds me of where I came from. I don't think I focus as much anymore on being different as much as I do as just being myself. And because I focus so much on being me, I end up being someone else or an individual. But it also has taught me a lot about what an individual is, right? And like the human experience, and a lot of the feelings that people think are, unique to them, other people can 100% understand, and so when I make songs like Or Don't, and I'm kind of like going to therapy on the beat, people reaching out to me and being like, yo, this song really hits, and I get what you're saying. Like that, I love that. I love those moments. I love, being able to realize that like somebody else is able to understand what I'm going through, and all I have to do is put it out there, and it kind of makes you less alone, and it makes you kind of realize that like we are a lot more similar than we are different. I usually have an idea for the album or like body of work after the music is done. I'll just like spend X amount of time recording and constantly making music, and then I'll look at the vault one day and I'll be like, all right, let's make the cut, and I'll see what fits sonically. I think it's kind of crazy because it is just a byproduct. It's like reading journal entries, I kind of see my emotions and my mind states from whatever amount of months I've been recording over, and I'm able to take that all and make it a chapter in my life and drop it as an album. I think that's what I ended up finding, right? I think instead of finding a sound, I found that my sound is going to be a work in progress. I think my sound is a reflection of me as a person, and hopefully the goal, right, is for me to continue to grow as an individual and always grow as an individual. And as I grow, hopefully, the music reflects that. I don't want to be having the same thought processes 10 years from now that I had right now. I don't want to be the same person. That's not the goal of this. The goal of this for me is to continue to grow and continue to reach new levels of potential that I could possibly achieve. I think as I continue to do that, the music will reflect it. It's gonna sound different sometimes, but it's always gonna be me. And I think that's the best part, and that's what ties it all together. I mean, it's cool, right? At any time I get an opportunity to make a song about where I'm from and release it into the world, is crazy. The fact that songs like Red's Cap and Bluegrass had the impact that they did, and they were songs about, places that are, super specific and very very me. It's just crazy to see because, we're able to kind of take the city, take our experiences, take the things we go through, the things that we do, and shine a light to the world on it. And I think, that's something I'll never take for granted. The fact that I'm able to release music and people are able to listen to it, and when they hear it, they think, of Cincinnati, they think of Northern Kentucky. That's fire to me. I've had people tell me that they love the song and they live in like New Mexico, or like Ghana. I'm like, that's insane. You've never even been to this continent, and you know about Cincinnati. That's something I think I really, really, really cherish about it. That's kind of one of my favorite parts. Not just an Ellesmere thing, or a Northern Kentucky thing, or a regional thing. I think every single creative has the same experience initially in their hometown, and that's like rejection, or like people saying it's not possible, or blah 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 blah. Somebody has to do it, and somebody can do it, and once one person does it, a lot of other people are able to see like, oh, it is possible. That's exactly what it's about. It doesn't matter if they support you now. people that you want to support you will support you along the way. So those are the ones that you focus on. Those are the ones that you nurture. Those are the ones that you give the attention to. And the rest of it's just noise. You just got to focus on, who loves you and who appreciates what you do. They're just regional things that separate where we are and what we do and what we consist of. I think Cincinnati, especially when I like started out, bro, I was doing like Mockby shows on like Tuesday nights. It was just so grungy, bro. Like people I've never seen, people that had like no idea what the music consisted of. They didn't care. They were just there to have fun. If you were lucky, then they were like, yo, I actually listened to some of what you were saying and it's pretty good. The moshing and it was just wild, bro. It was a wild time. And I love it because it's like authentically us. I don't know where it comes from, but whoever planted those seeds, thank you. It's crazy to see all of the artists, all of the talent, and the community that's being built. For a really long time, people were just very like isolated and focused on themselves and what they could do. And I think people have realized that like you don't need to go to an Atlanta or like a New York or an LA. You can build cities like that wherever you are. And it just starts with support locally. It doesn't start with you getting it first. It starts with you giving it first. You give support and you get support in return. And I think that's what a lot of artists have realized, especially, just in the area and in the city. And I love to see it. I should probably check. I should probably stop smoking, speaking honestly. Leave these hoes alone and start to focus on monogamy. I should probably buy the block like it's Monopoly. Caught my mama crib and hit her phone like, is you proud of me? I should probably do a lot of things. When I was making E for Everyone, I was really drawing influence from like the music I heard on the radio as a kid. I was talking to my management about it and I was like, yo, like a lot of this stuff is like either just flexing or like op rap, and I'm kind of cool on that, And I was like, bro, I haven't heard like a feel-good rap song in a really long time. And so those were like a lot of the things that kind of played a part in it. When I listened to them, those were the songs that kind of felt like feel-good rap out of the bowl. Like my process is never crazy intentional when I make music. I just make music, and then when it's time, and I'm able to find the perfect song, put into a project, and that's all I can ask for. So I think it's gonna be a great experience. I'm just excited to go somewhere and perform for the first time. I'm like a huge fan of first impressions. I really don't take those moments for granted, but every time I get to go to a city and like perform for the first time, it's a sick moment, So being able to go to New York and perform the music in front of people that support it and love it is something that's very like heartwarming and humbling for me. But no, I'm just excited to be out there. I'm excited to be in New York. I'm excited to chop it up with people. I'm excited to, go and do things that I can't do in Cincinnati. And I think that's really my favorite part of traveling, is just being able to take in what these cities can provide to you. I think they are synonymous with each other. I think a lot of what I've learned about music, I've actually learned from like art history. I'm a YouTube kid at heart, so like I'll sit in front of like my Mac and just watch like Basquiat and Warhol and like Van Gogh documentaries and like Great Art Explained, like Louisiana Channel interviews. And like I'll just watch all of those things and I'll just like kind of see the little like intricacies in visual art and I guess auditory art and how they're literally just the same thing. A lot of artists go through the same thing that musicians go through, and I think that's why musicians are referred to as artists. Art doesn't inspire me, it explains a lot of it to me. It shows me like, I don't know, I'm able to see a lot of the situations that I go through personally as a creative in a lot of other people's lives, and I grab a lot of like quotes from artists that resonate and I'll like write them on my whiteboard and I'll just look at them throughout the week. And I think I'll use those things subconsciously, I guess. Every day it's my job to get better at what I do. And I think you don't get better as a musician, you just get more comfortable. As I get more comfortable, I'm able to like enter my flow state and I'm able to, make my best work because I'm creating from a place of like no judgment. And that's when you're like the most free. I think that's kind of what reps are for me, just constantly making music, constantly staying in front of a microphone. So I'm like used to the feeling, comfortable with the feeling, constantly, freestyling over beats or just listening to music in general. If I'm not creating it, I'm consuming it. Those are all little like details that I think really play a part in the way that you're able to creatively have an output. I think a lot of people just try to create from an empty car, bro. You don't have any gas, you gotta have some gas in the car for it to go. So, go experience things, whether that's music or art or, just being in the city. But those kind of things, you can find inspiration anywhere. Just pay attention and look for it. I hate when producers don't play the beat long enough, when they're like trying to show you a beat and they've heard it before. So they'll like play maybe 0.3 milliseconds of it and then just skip it and be like, oh no, you don't like that. I'm like, bro, you have no idea if I would like that one. I didn't even get to hear it. I hate that. That's like my least favorite thing. Because I'm so big on like, it takes one song, right? It takes literally one song. Every opportunity matters to me. So like when you like skip through it without even like letting me get a chance to hear it, I'm like, bro, you just possibly took like, $1 million out of my bank account. But social media is the only part of music that feels like a job. It's not even the interactions, right? I love the interaction. I love talking to people. I love being able to like, I was literally just on my IG live with like somebody in the Pacific Northwest who is at like a powwow. He lives on like a Native American reservation. I was like, that's fire. You know what I'm saying? Like these are people that I would have never ran into in any other way. So I love those moments, but I hate having to be on my phone. Like I hate it. It takes me out of the present, and it's like just like I don't have anxiety, but it's very anxiety inducing, bro. Like just constantly getting like hit with like people's highlight reels, and nobody's ever losing on social media, and I hate that about it too, because it's like, bro, am I doing it wrong? Like, am I losing? Like, what's going on? Everybody's losing. They're just not showing you it. So that's another thing I hate about social media. It's just like, it's not real. And I think especially for like the youth and like the kids that are coming up, they're just so like ingrained in it, more so even than I was as a kid. Because like I grew up with computers, but like I was playing like ping pong on the computer. You know what I'm saying? Not ping pong, but like pinball. Oh, yeah. Like yeah, like but these kids are like on Omegle and they're like in second grade. I'm like, what is going on? It's crazy because it's becoming more so a part of people's lives, which means it's becoming more so the real world. I don't know. That's just not something I really vibe with. One thing I really like to do is look at like quotes. I don't know why quotes always hit, especially like a quote that resonates. I feel that like in my chest. You know what I'm saying? I handle it differently. Sometimes I will go and like work out or like poop or something like that just to get my mind off of it. Sometimes I'll take like a nap and eat a snack, and that'll like literally change everything. Sometimes I'll look at other people's lives and the things they go through, and I'll draw inspiration from it, because like I said, we're all a lot more similar than we think. So I think one of the most like grounding things for me is like, if I'm going through a problem, somebody somewhere is probably going through this problem, and all I need to do is like look at them and study the way that they were able to handle it, or just like trust the process in general and realize like life is going to be ups and downs, and you just kind of got to stay in the middle. We got a show in New York, so if you're seeing this in New York, it won't be too late, but yeah. Then we got LA in August for the first show in LA ever, which would be fire. But but we're staying busy. New music's on the way. New music next week actually, so by the time this comes out, it'll probably be out too. I'm just excited, bro. We have a lot of things planned for the rest of the year, for the rest of the summer. We're gonna end 2024. It's one of the best years yet. You can find me anywhere: Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, wherever you're getting your music, wherever you're streaming your socials, under the same name, and it's either Profit, and that's Profit like money, PROFIT.